What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. For those who don't like the intro, skip ahead to the must-have players. For those who like it, welcome to the Week 13 must-have players video. This is the middle season stretch in fantasy hockey. Super important. You're going to be dealing with a lot of injuries right now, so you're going to have to make some moves to add some of the better players on your waiver wire. I'm struggling with injuries right now. You might be too, so hopefully this video helps. Before you get in this video, guys, make sure you leave a like. Let's go for 150 likes on this video. You guys have been crushing it recently. Make sure, if you're not in the Discord already, to hop on in there. 800 plus active fantasy hockey members. And for those looking to make some money playing fantasy hockey and need help with your picks, jump in the Discord, look at Mike's bets. We have a 65% win rate on the season. Head over to Prize Picks, use code PUCK, receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Without further ado, guys, let's jump into the Week 13 must-add players video. To begin this video, I'm looking at someone that's a little bit higher owned. It's Michael Bunting of the Toronto Maple Leafs at 65% ownership over on Yahoo with left wing eligibility. Bunting is now playing consistently on the top line. I know he was getting moved around down to the depth in the bottom nine, a little bit on the second line, but now he's back on the first line with Matthews. He's also getting reps at power play 1. It's kind of weird right now. It looks like with Sandino on IR and Riley back, Riley is now playing power play 2. I was talking to Chris the other day, and he said that he thinks that some Leafs fans are saying Morgan Riley is the reason the Leafs were losing before and now they're winning. I don't think that's true at all, but Michael Bunting here has been great as of recent. He's been scoring goals, he's been getting assists, putting pucks in the back of the net, taking a bunch of shots on net. He has the 19th best shot rate over the last month of hockey, and his hit rate's been solid as well. So Michael Bunting here at 65% ownership. Should definitely be looking at him in those 8 to 10 team leagues. You're going to get some power play 1 exposure. You're going to get some really strong 5-on-5 exposure. I love players that are on good teams. This Leafs team, one of the best in the league right now. Michael Bunting looks like a great add. Brandon Hagel of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I've seen a lot of people in the Discord recently have been dropping Hagel, not sure what to do with him. Left wing, right wing eligible, so you get to play him on nights where you may have one winger spot full. At just 51% ownership over on Yahoo, I really like Hagel. I think he is one of the sneakiest plays right now, filling in the role that Andre Palat left in Tampa. He is on the first line with one of the best point-producing players in the league in Nikita Kucherov and one of the top point-getting centers in Braden Point. He's also getting power play 1 time. He's playing over 19 minutes per night. And their line as a whole has a 3.92 expected goals for per 60, which ranks 4th best in the league. So it's just a matter of time before this line starts producing on a very high level. And Brandon Hagel is getting all the exposure, top line, top power play unit. For those who own Rickard Rakell, for example, he has now moved down to the second line, still on power play 1. I could argue Hagel over Rakell in some leagues, especially ones that don't count hits. I like Hagel quite a bit right now. I'm surprised to see so many people dropping him. Maybe my Tampa Bay fans or people who have owned him, let me know why you're dropping Brandon Hagel. He definitely seems like someone I'd be holding, definitely long-term as well. I like the dual position eligibility, and he should be available in those 8 to 10 team leagues and maybe even in your 12 team leagues. Jumping over to a goalie now, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, arguably the best name in the NHL. I hope I spelled it right. I think I did. I think this guy is actually going to be the Stuart Skinner next season. Someone I was really high on the preseason, Stuart Skinner. I figured he was going to be the starting goalie at some point. Really high on him. I love Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, one of the top NHL goalie prospects in the entire league. Second round pick of Buffalo. Just 17% owned over on Yahoo. If you're looking to acquire a goalie off the free agency, there's not many. It's very thin right now. I'm struggling in almost all my leagues with some of my goaltending. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen becomes a great stream on this Buffalo Sabres team, who is currently first in the league for goals for. So I don't think Craig Anderson poses as any risk to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I think he becomes maybe a 60-40 split with UPL. I'm going to start calling him UPL. It just makes it so much easier for me. With UPL being the starting goalie moving forward, 70% owned. If this Buffalo team figures out how to play a little bit better defense, they're very healthy right now. They seem to be projecting upwards. I like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Getting lots of starts, solid save percentage. He had a very bad November with a 4+ goals against average and a sub 900 save percentage. And then in December, he had a 6-2 record with a 908 save percentage and a 326 goals against average. So much better numbers there from UPL. Moving on, Ivan Barbashev. Man, I'm so sad. I have Tarasenko in 3 of my leagues. He's out at least 4 weeks. Will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. And news that Ryan O'Reilly, someone that is honestly a drop candidate at this point, is out for at least 6 weeks with a broken foot. Barbashev now moves up into a top 6 role. He was playing a little bit more in the bottom 9, but still getting good minutes. Power play 1, lots of opportunity here for Barbashev. He should start to see about 19 plus minutes per night, especially with Sanko gone, especially with O'Reilly gone. Great eligibility here with center and left wing, 14% owned. I do think he's going to get some power play 1 time. He also has a very, very strong hit volume as well. So for those players or fantasy managers in points leagues, Barbashev has a very high floor. Now add in some offensive production. He's only going to get better, especially for your fantasy teams at just 14% owned. Should be available in those 12-team leagues where you want to be adding him. Lastly, Evan Rodriguez. So I do know he's hurt, but I do like him long-term. This team is really banged up right now. We don't really know when Landeskog's coming back. Rodriguez has been shooting the puck a ton. He is top 10 for shot rate over the last month. Also top 5 in time on ice for forwards, averaging over 20 minutes per night. McKinnon is back. Rodriguez is not on power play 1, which is a little bit of a concern. So I think in those deeper leagues, 14-team leagues, he's definitely worth an add. Very, very strong shot volume. He is triple position eligible, something you want from your players where there's full nights and you may have to fill Rodriguez in somewhere else other than those wing positions or center positions. Having all 3, very important. 14% owned. I like Rodriguez's long-term outlook. They do... Colorado does play on Thursday against Vancouver, so we will see the status of Rodriguez, but right now he's definitely worth an add. Very good shot volume, very, very high floor, and if he starts to put the puck in the back of the net, his ceiling will only rise. Those holidays really made me miss fantasy hockey. Moving on to the lower owned players, still some players over 10% owned. Casey DeSmith of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tristan Jarry went down with injury in that Bruins-Penguins Winter Classic game. Growing injury, not very good for a goaltender. If Casey DeSmith does take over, he is going to be a very, very good long-term add. We don't know the status of Jerry right now, but if Jerry does go on IR, you've added DeSmith already a little bit before he was actually placed on IR, and there's not really much competition in the AHL for the Penguins. Honestly, potentially forcing their hand to acquire a goalie, but Casey DeSmith looks like a great long-term add right now, especially with Jarry's injury status. This Pittsburgh Penguins team is very, very competitive. He's actually one of the better backup goalies in the league. Maybe not a 1B goalie, but more of a 2A goalie. Really like DeSmith, especially for those who are struggling to pick up a goalie in your fantasy leagues. Moving on, Martin Fehervary, one of my favorite hit volume players. Very good for points leagues. Very, very high floor. Defense are thin this year. Fehervary is now back from IR. He was second in the league for hits last season, one of the top hitting defensemen. If you own Gudas or Gudas is owning your league, Fehervary is pretty much the exact same player. John Carlson's out, so that means that this Capitals D-core is desperate for some minutes. With Fehervary back, he played 18 minutes in last game, didn't really do a lot, but we should see his minutes creep up to 20 plus. That hit volume is going to be there. He does get opportunity 5-on-5. I really like Fehervary at just 14% owned. Someone I drafted in a few of my leagues and was forced to drop him. I do have a no maintenance league, which means you just draft and you don't do anything. Happy to have him back in that league. Frank Vetrano, for those in the Discord, you know this guy is the best player to bet on, over 2.5 shots. Very good shot volume. He's starting to see 20 plus minutes per night. This Anaheim team's desperate, guys. Although they are going to go for Bedard and hopefully finish last place, that's my potential landing spot for him. I really, really don't hope he goes to Arizona. But Frank Vetrano, very good shot volume, very good hit volume, starting to see good minutes. Left wing, right wing eligible, which you want to see when you add your wingers. Just 7% owned, meaning those 14 to 16 team leagues, he's likely available. You're going to get very high floor. Hopefully he begins to start finding that a little bit more. Power play 2, top 6 role. Really like Vetrano. For those who like to make your sport bets and are on Prize Picks using code PUCK, you can see in the bottom left corner, a little plug here. Bet on Frank Vetrano over 2.5 shots. Always free money. To end this video off, guys, I need to just take a breath there. Marcus Pettersson of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Letang is out. I did like Ty Smith. He was getting some power play one time. I went and looked last game, 10 minutes for Ty Smith. Pettersson played over 22 minutes. He did get that power play 1 role. He's just 1% owned, so you're going to get a power play 1 defenseman on a strong Pittsburgh Penguin team. Very good hit volume, very good block volume. He's going to give you those peripherals. Now add in some offensive opportunity. I really like Pettersson moving forward at just 1% owned. Finally, Jake Walman. For my deeper league guys looking to add a defenseman and Pettersson's owned, or if you need another defenseman outside of Pettersson, Jake Walman is now playing a pair one role with Moritz Seider over in Detroit. Back when he was on St. Louis, I really liked Walman because he had a solid shot volume. He was actually pretty good for 2 or 3 shots per game. That's what we're seeing out of him recently. His block volume is top 5 in the league amongst defensemen over the last month. Something you like to see, especially for those who are in block leagues. Walman's also getting some power play 2 time. This Red Wings power play is more of like a minute 20 to 40 seconds rather than compared to someone like the Oilers or the Leafs who do 2 minutes full. So he is going to get some power play 2 time, which should only increase his offensive production. I like Walman moving forward, 20 plus minutes per night, which you want to see from your depth defenseman. That rounds out my list for my deep league players to add. That'll do it for the week 13 must add players video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.